Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christy Casciano.
I'm Jeff Kulikowski. 7 minutes in handcuffs for a young girl earlier this month, leading to a permanent policy change for the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office.
Back on January 13th, sheriff's deputies patrolling in the city of Syracuse spotted a girl who matched the description of someone who had just stolen a car not too far away. Turns out they were wrong, but until they realized their mistake, they had an 11-year-old girl in handcuffs for 7 minutes. The next day, the sheriff changed his policy. Deputies will now call parents or guardians anytime a child is detained.
It's prompted the Syracuse Common Council Public Safety Committee to ask Syracuse police how they'd handle detaining a child. They'll ask tomorrow. We'll ask the chief tonight because Syracuse Police Chief Joe Cecile's joining us. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here, Chief.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, Chief, how does your department handle the detainment of children?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say I give Sheriff Shelley credit for looking at this incident, reviewing it, and deciding to make some changes because they had some gaps in their policies. We all do that as leaders. We do it all the time. We look at our policies. We don't consider them to be static or living documents. We review them. Even this incident that we're talking about, which wasn't ours, has given us pause to take a look at our policies. So we have pages and pages of policies regarding our interactions with young people. But I think the two you're talking about has to do with handcuffing and notifying parents. So we'll just hone in on those two. As far as handcuffing, our policy is we don't handcuff anyone below 14 years of age unless they've been involved in what we consider a dangerous felony, or they're a flight risk, or we think they're going to injure themselves or others in the area, including the officers. As far as notifying parents, we're going to notify parents anytime somebody's in custody, certainly if they're arrested. Detainment's trickier, and I'm not trying to be slippery here, but here's why. It's a real scenario that happens all the time, multiple times throughout the week. Officers arriving on a scene of multiple young people fighting in the street, outside of school, in front of a corner store, and they say, you four stand over there and don't move. You three, stand over there and don't move, while they investigate it. They finish investigating, find out there's no injuries, no crime committed, everyone goes home. Are we going to make 7 calls to parents to say, we told your child to stand there? Because Webster's dictionary would say that's detainment. But in those cases, we're not going to make the calls. Certainly, again, if we arrest, if we put them in the back of the police car, in handcuffs, we're going to make notifications. But we'll take a look at our policies as well and see if there's something else we can amend.
So, based on what we just went through in this community, do you think you need to take a closer look, and is there a formal written policy?
We have, well, again, those things I just mentioned are all written policies, pages and pages. But we always take a look at incidents, whether they're ours or someone else's, if they're in the city, to see if there's something we can change. We're always looking to change because of state law, local laws, mandates from the mayor, common council, but also expectations from the community as well.
Has that been, Chief, a fairly long-standing policy within the department? Kind of how you came to that decision? For the policy on detainment or lack of detainment, kind of the topic we're discussing now?
Yeah, sure. So again, with all policies, including this one, we look at all things, what's going on around the state. We obviously look at state mandates because state laws change every year, sometimes twice a year. Local laws change. Common councilors may put some type of mandate on us. The mayor might want us to do something differently. But beyond that, we have software that tracks policies throughout the state, throughout the country, looking for best practices and red flagging things in our own policies that we might need to take a look at.
All right, we're going to shift gears now. Immigration, that is a major topic these days following President Trump's executive orders. We know this is a federal level issue, but let's say any federal agency like ICE asks for your help in enforcing any of these executive orders. What is your policy?
Yeah, so we've worked with ICE for as long as I can remember, probably as long as I've been on the job. But for high-level stuff, people that have a crime associated with them, typically a felony crime. And I'll give you a perfect example, our most recent one. The individual, the suspect who took his girlfriend into that Airbnb over on the north side and then brutally murdered her, carried her out and put her in a park, dumped her body in a park. We had very limited information on that one. We collaborated with ICE for not only the name, but the location, in the apprehension of that individual. Without their help, it's very likely that family would not have had closure as quickly. maybe not might not have had closure at all if the individual had left the country and we weren't able to apprehend him. So in those high-level instances like that, we're going to work with ICE to make the community safer.
What about, A, have you been approached yet in the last week or so, and B, going forward, given the current climate, if you're just asked to, quote-unquote, round up people?
So we have a meeting this week with the mayor himself, with the attorneys, to discuss that very thing. We have not, to answer your first question, we have not been asked for that type of intervention. Don't really think that we are going to be. We've been in contact with ICE as recently as this week, actually last week, Thursday. Been involved, talking to them, their local agent, to find out what their expectations of ours, what their expectations are of us. Doesn't appear that they're going to be asking us for that type of intervention, but we'll be ready when it happens.
And do you think it could happen, though, that they could come to you and say?
Don't really know, Christy. It's hard to say. Again, our interactions with them have always been high level. People that have crimes associated with them already, and I think it will continue to be so.
All right, we got another topic for you. The computer hack that took down the Syracuse Police Department computer system about a week ago. Was that a hack? What happened, and where do you stand with it?
Yeah, so we're calling it a security incident. We are not at liberty to mention too many details of it, but what I can tell you is that as soon as we found out about it, our IT folks that are headed up by Sergeant Einbeck and the IT folks from City Hall, headed up by Dave Proack, worked together with our consultants to first contain it, to make sure it didn't spread further, and then to start bringing our systems on board. We worked on a priority list. Body cams were important because without those loading docks loading up the footage, you could lose footage. We clearly had to make sure the reports could be written in the cars and supervisors could sign those reports, so we could continue to do that. And then emails had to be back up so we could communicate. Most of that is back up, and now we're working on the servers where all of our data is housed because we need to be able to get to that data.
Based on just what you just said, it sounds like when it first happened, it must have been a bit of a nightmare for you.
It sure was. I mean, it was 24/7. The IT people, you know, I don't know anything about tech, but I know things about people, and I know they were there in the morning when I arrived at work. They were there in the evening when I left. I came in on the weekend, over this weekend, for duty chief. They were there again. They're working around the clock to see if they can get us fully up and running the way we were before this incident occurred.
Yeah, it runs deeper, I think, than maybe we all understood when you talked about the body cameras and things like that. You know, you automatically go to email and other, you know, maybe reports and things like that, but it goes pretty deep in the police department.
The technology touches just about everything we do these days at the police department and everywhere else, here, everywhere you go. You don't realize how much you depend on it until something like this happens.
And rebuilding the system, you're almost there?
Yeah, I would say they're almost there. From what I'm hearing, the first week of February will be a big week for the IT folks. They think they're going to start to bring almost everything back online.
All right, I want to try to sneak one more in. We talked with you last time about some of the tech you want to start using in 2025. Have you been able to get any in-house and actually start using it, like a drone? You even talked about like a robotic dog. Have you got any of that stuff
So
yet?
we don't, the robot dog, we haven't ordered it yet.
Okay.
Well, though we could have used it twice since I last talked to you. Once for the incident on the West End, the barricaded gunman, where we had to actually send officers in at some point to locate him in the basement, where the dog could have done that with no danger to the public or to the officers. The first drone response team, or sorry, the first drone response program is heading through the surveillance committee right now, and once it clears that, we'll begin to purchase it.
Okay,
Very
perfect.
good.
Yeah. Chief Cecile, we covered a lot as usual. We always appreciate your time. You know that. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Chief. Anytime. Thanks.